What's going on, guys? Tyler Matthews here with Sport Biz Pro, and today is an exciting day because this is the official launch of the Sport Biz Pro channel. So let's start off. I'm going to quickly introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tyler Matthews. I live here in Florida. I love sports, I love business, and I've been fortunate enough to combine the two and make a career out of it. I own and operate Fast Phenom Basketball Training here in Central Florida. We've had that for 7 years and made probably every single mistake you can think of in trying to grow a sports training business. And now we're at the point where this year we're doing over 500,000 in revenue and on pace for next year to do over 1 million in revenue, which is absolutely crazy for me to say out loud, but it hasn't always been this easy. Like I said, we made a lot of mistakes along the way. And the reason I'm starting this channel is because we're going to continue to scale Fast Phenom to 10 million and beyond. And I'm sure there's going to be a ton more mistakes that we make. And I wish I would have done this earlier, but the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is now. So we're getting this thing started, and I'm going to share some of the headaches and money wasted and time and mistakes that we've made. And hopefully you're able to learn and implement some of this and avoid some of the mistakes along your journey in trying to grow your sports training business and impact players in whatever sport it is that you coach. So let's dive right into this. Enough about me. Let's get into this. And today we're speaking on the number one mistake sports trainers make when trying to grow their business. And as I mentioned before, I've made hundreds of mistakes. So there's a lot of these videos that we will be making on mistakes that get made in this industry. But there's one, if I had to pinpoint it, that is above all else, right? And if you can start by fixing this mistake, I think everything else will fall into place, right? And as you can see here, I have a sub headline: the athletes you're training are probably making this mistake also. And so let's dive into it. This is going to be a kind of dynamic document where I'm going to be typing, I'll be talking, and we'll try to get right to the point and cut the fat so that this video isn't too long. All right. So the number one mistake sports trainers make, are you ready? The number one mistake that I see that sports trainers make when trying to grow their business is that they have no goals, right? And even more specifically than that, they have no clear goals, right? And so I'll talk to sports trainers. We've consulted hundreds across the country and around the world on growing their business, getting more athletes, making more money, all that stuff. And a lot of them, when I first speak with them, I'll say, what's your goals or what's your mission? And they'll say, oh, I want to help as many players as I can, or I want to be the best trainer in the world. And while that, you're on the right track, right? You're thinking in the right mindset, you want to get better. Those are great goals, but they're not clear and they're not a goal, in my opinion. They're just a wish, right? And so what a goal is it's clear, it's measurable. You'll know whether you reached your goal or whether you didn't reach your goal. It has a timeline, and preferably it has a reason that means something to you behind it, right? And so let's get into this on how I see the best way for you to set goals, right? And we we're trying to grow a business, right? Like that's why we're doing this. We started this to make money. We want to help athletes, and but we wouldn't have started a business if we didn't want to make money, right? We would just be doing it for free. So if you're watching this video, most likely you want to help athletes, but you also want to be able to create a business, right? And maybe it's just a business for yourself to be self-employed and be able to sustain you and your family, or maybe you have a big vision like we do at Fast Phenom, where you want to open multiple locations and be able to put people in leadership positions and hire people and be able to share the wealth, right? And so whatever your goals are, you have to start by knowing what it is, and it has to be something that is clear and preferably ties in with the economics of your business. And so we the way we structure this is you want to start by saying it as an I will statement or a we will statement. So if you're by yourself, it would be an I will statement. If you have a team, then it would be a we will, right? We as the company will. And so I'll give you guys this outline here. We want to start with I/we will, right? Not we want to, not we wish to, not we're thinking about. We will, right? We are telling ourselves this is who we're going to become and this is what we're going to do, and then we're going to make the mistakes along the way and we're going to figure out how to get there, but we know what we will do. And so we will, And then you list 1 to 3 clear objectives that tie in with the economic success of the business. And so examples of this could be, I want to add 100 players to my training program, or I want to have 100 players training with me, or I want to make 25,000 or $50,000 a month in training revenue, right, from my sports training business, or I want to have 3 trainers that work with me, right? It has to be very clear. It can't just be I want to help more players, or I want to make more money, or I want to have more trainers with me. Like, make it a clear number where you know whether you reach that thing or not, right? And so this is the first part, is saying I will, listing the 1 to 3 things, right? So boom, 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 right? Let's say this one is number of players. This one could be dollars per month in revenue. And then you can come up with your last one, right? But you want to have 1 to 3, and then you want to know when you're going to hit this by, right? And so we suggest setting 2 goals. You'll have a long-term goal, which could be 10 years or more, anywhere from 10 to 50 years from now. If everything goes right, where do you want to be? Where will you be, right? I will, boom, boom, boom. And then you also want to have short-term goals, which would be anywhere from 6 months to 18 months from now. So half a year to a year and a half from now. And so you'll do this exercise twice. I recommend starting with the end in mind. So think, how long do I want to be doing this? Do I want to do it for 100 years, 50 years? Do I want this to continue on after I pass away? Do I just want this to be a 10-year thing? I'm going to grow it as much as I can for 10 years and then sell it. How long are you thinking you want to be in this, and what is your ultimate goal if everything goes perfect, right? And I suggest doing this exercise first for that. And I'm not done with the whole exercise, so I'll explain the rest. But we want to do it for long term, and then we want to also do it after that for short term. Say, okay, if I want to get to that eventually, where do I need to be in the next 6 months to a year? And it'll also depend on your starting point and where you're currently at, right? And so the equation goes, we will. You list your 3 clear objectives. You have by, and then you list the date, right? So again, if it's short term, this would be 6 months. 6 to 18 months from now, right? And then if it's long term, it would be, let's call it 5 to 100 plus years, right? And so we want to have the I will, what you're going to do by the certain date, and then the last reason is why/because, right? And so why do you want to do this? Because why? Like, so there's a million reasons, right? Maybe it's for your parents. Maybe your parents inspired you and you want to be able to continue that on to kids. Maybe it's because you know every kid deserves to have a positive mentor. Maybe it's because there's a lack in the marketplace of great sports training in whatever sport it is that you teach, right? It has to be a because that really drives it home for either you or you and your team. When you wake up on those days where you're kind of shaky and you don't know if you want to get in the gym or get on the field, it's like, no, this is my because, and we're going to do it anyways because we're on a mission, right? And these are our goals. And so the equation goes, I will list your 1 to 3 economic objectives by a certain date, and then also why/because. And then what I recommend is pass this along to your players. So if you're training athletes and they come to you and they say, I want to get better, that's fine, right? How much better, right? And how will we know if you reached it or not? Set clear goals with your players, right? Like maybe if you're shooting basketballs, they may make 10 out of 20 free throws to start off, and you set the goal that you want them, or they set the goal for themselves that they want to be able to make 15 out of 20. That's clear, that's objective. You'll know when and if you reached it, right? And there's going to be times where you fail your goals, and that's okay, right? You can set goals, you can work super hard to get to them, and you just may not reach it in that time, and you may realize, wait, I didn't work as hard, or I didn't give myself enough time, and then that's where you readjust the mission and you start back over again, right? And so having this though is so crucial And the last thing I'm going to say, because I know I'm kind of getting on a tangent here, we're going 10 minutes, but I really believe that this is the starting point for everybody, no matter where you're starting at. If you haven't even started yet, start with this system and this mindset of I will. Tell yourself what you're going to do, by when, set a date for yourself so that there's some urgency, and then why or because. The last thing I'm going to say to drive this home is that you are going to get what you see for yourself. So if you don't have any clear goals, you may get better just as the market gets better. But if you don't see and you may subconsciously see a little bit of potential in yourself and stuff like that. But if you can clearly see what you want and you have it written down, the likelihood, at least from my experience and those who I've worked with on this, the likelihood that it happens goes way, way up. Okay. And so you want to write this down, put it on a goal card, read it every single day when you wake up throughout your day. Don't be on the hypnotic distraction device. Instead, have your goal card, an index card that you keep in your pocket that says, I will, those three clear objectives by the certain date. And because keep that in your pocket, and everything you do when you're working with your business should be geared towards those things. All right. Like I said, my name is Tyler Matthews. I appreciate you guys tuning into this channel and watching this video. We're going to be dropping videos a couple times a week. So if you like this, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and set your goals. Share them with me if you'd like, and exceed your goals ultimately. Exceed your goals. The limit does not exist. The only limit that exists is the one you place upon yourself.